didn't let my kids eat candy all day, but I was feeding my brain the emotional version of junk food, which is comparison. Every time I opened social media or saw another perfect mom at church, I felt like I was failing. But I have learned how to rewire that thought pattern, and I want to show you exactly how I did it, because scrolling through their childhood is not worth the regret. I legitimately used to wonder why motherhood felt so heavy, even when I was doing all the right things. But then I realized I was feeding my brain junk. It wasn't candy, it wasn't caffeine, it was something a lot sneakier that happened every single day, all day long, which was comparison. And just like junk food wrecks your body, comparison was wrecking my peace and my presence and my patience with my kids. Every single scroll, every glance at the mom who looked like she was so put together, it rewired me until I could not even enjoy my life without measuring it against someone else's life. And the good news is you can definitely rewire your brain. And today I'm going to show you exactly how I did it so that you can stop spiraling and start feeling like you again. In this video, I'm going to break down what's actually happening in your brain when you compare, why it makes motherhood and homemaking feel so much harder than it needs to be, and more importantly, how to break the cycle and actually start fueling your mind with truth instead of junk. So here's what I mean when I say junk food for the brain, because maybe you're like, what the heck does that even mean? Comparison seems really harmless because it's so common. Just a scroll here, a glance there, but it gives you this quick emotional spike and then crashes you so hard. It rewires your brain to believe that you're behind, that you're not enough, that everyone else is doing it better. And if what you're feeding your thoughts is junk all day, if that's what you're fueling your thoughts with, no wonder you feel exhausted. If we haven't met yet, I'm Cassie, certified life coach, mom of 3 kids. I have been a full-time stay-at-home mom for 13 years now, and I know what it's like to wake up feeling already behind, day after day after day. I remember this one afternoon, I had made it to nap time, hooray, halfway through the day. The kitchen was finally clean, the dinner was pretty prepped, toys were picked up. I was feeling pretty good about myself, like, okay, maybe I've got this under control. And then I opened Pinterest, and there it was, this perfect homeschool room that was just beautiful. It was captioned with this Charlotte Mason quote and this scripture verse, and instantly, it was like my whole effort that day disappeared. Everything I had done, suddenly it felt like it didn't count anymore. Do you ever scroll Instagram and feel that way? Like every mom is doing it better. Maybe you look around your house and suddenly you feel behind, like what you just finished somehow isn't good enough. I lived in that headspace for so many years. And what I didn't understand then was our brains are wired to look where we fit in. God designed us for connection. But the modern world really has hijacked that wiring. Instead of connection, we are comparing. Instead of community, we get competition. I can still picture myself standing in the hallway at church. There was this mom holding her baby and just so effortlessly calm, and she was dressed so cute. Her kids were kind of fighting, and I just felt this kind of quiet panic. She is so much better than I am. Our brain is scanning constantly, okay? Her house is cleaner. She's more patient. She's doing more with her kids. It's not because you're weak that your brain's doing that. It's just because your brain is wired to do that. And you're overwhelmed, especially when you're already carrying all the mom guilt that most of us are. So here's where it gets really fascinating because I'm a nerd. It's not just a thought problem, it's an actual brain problem. Comparison triggers a dopamine hit, which is this little emotional high, when you see something inspiring, but then it drops really fast, and the crash leaves you feeling worse than before. Even worse, your brain's threat system lights up. It reacts as if you're in danger because you don't measure up. Cortisol floods your body, and your prefrontal cortex, which is the part that you really need to be calm and patient and be able to problem solve, hijacked. And so now you are snapping at your kids or zoning out or feeling very overwhelmed, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your brain is constantly being trained to believe that you are not enough. So I used to tell myself, well, at least I'm not that mom that's on my phone around my kids. I really made sure to not ever do that. But I was still feeding my brain the same stuff, just silently and subtly. That mom in my head that was always doing it better. And I couldn't turn the volume down. This is why homemaking feels heavier than it should. It's not that the dishes aren't done, or it's not that it's noisy. It's carrying all of that while your brain is starving for peace. For nearly a decade, seriously, almost 10 years, I worked so hard. Cleaning, cooking, playing on the floor with my kids, all good things. And still I felt like it wasn't enough. Why? Because all it took was seeing someone else's dinner or morning basket or spotless house, and instantly my joy was gone. And just like my kids sneaking a cracker before dinner or a bunch of crackers, comparison was ruining my taste or appetite for contentment. I could not enjoy my home or my own life or my own effort. I couldn't enjoy any of those things because I had already spoiled it with comparison, and I was so stuck there. And here's what I didn't realize. I was feeding my brain lies. Let's call it like it is. They're lies. I thought comparison was motivating. I thought doing more would finally make me feel like enough. And I thought I had to become someone else entirely in order to be that good mom. But none of that was true. It was junk food, empty, addictive, and it kept me from the peace that I was so desperately craving. So what changed everything was when I finally started asking, what am I actually feeding my brain right now? So there's a scripture. It says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." That scripture explains how tired I was of conforming to everyone else's version of motherhood. And the truth, God didn't ask me to be perfect. He didn't ask me to do what everyone else was doing. He created me on purpose, even the introverted parts of me that I wished sometimes that I could just change, right? I wish so bad I could change that about myself. He made me that way. He called me to love and to lead and to be present, slowing down, grounding myself in scripture, actually enjoying my life and the kids that God gave me. That's when I started to feel like myself again. So here's a tool that I teach my clients because all of this feels very foreign to a lot of people. Notice, name, and nourish. Notice the thought. Usually it sounds something like, I'm not doing enough, right? Or I'm not enough. Then you're going to name the lie. That's junk food. That is not from God. And then you're going to nourish your mind with truth. Maybe a scripture, maybe just a breath, maybe a memory of what really matters to you. Simple, repeated, over and over and over again. And it's absolutely life-changing. So if you've ever looked up from your screen and realized you're missing the moment in front of you, this is your pause button, okay? Because childhood is not on pause. There is no pause button. And one day you might look back and wonder why it all felt like a blur. Stop before it's gone. Not the moment, not your mind, not your motherhood. You don't need a perfect system. You just need better fuel. Truth over junk, okay? Presence over pressure. Peace over comparison. I didn't want to live with regret. Scrolling and comparing through my kid's childhood instead of actually living it would bring regret. And I know that you don't want that either. Here's your next tiny little step. If you want a way to kind of start somewhere, pick one really small moment today to fully be there. Bath time or after school snack or prayers. Just put the phone down, turn the pressure off, and just truth on repeat. And if you want help making this your new normal, I am hosting a free masterclass soon. I'll walk you through how to renew your mind and actually enjoy your kids again without doing more or pretending to be someone else. Grab my free ebook to get on the list. It's in the description. Really, truly, you were never meant to measure up to her, right? Her. You were meant to show up as you. You don't have to carry the weight of regret. You don't have to keep scrolling through their childhood and just living life from the sidelines. Let's unrot our brains together. Let's live these years that are so short on purpose. You've got this. You're amazing, and I'll see you soon.